Jungkook, your cold husband, had always been a man of few words, cold and reserved, not because he didn't care, but because it was how he had grown up. He wasn't the type to express himself freely or get overly emotional. You had decided to be patient from the beginning. Jungkook had been honest about his nature, saying he's not the kind of person who connects easily. He had said shortly after your wedding. He needs time, but he will try. Those words had stayed with you, giving you hope even during the moments when his silence felt overwhelming. One day you went to Jungkook's office to hand him his lunchbox because you were feeling bored in home. When you stepped into Jungkook's office building, you went to the reception desk, clutching the carefully packed lunch in your hands. Hello, you greeted the receptionist with a small smile. I'm here to see Jungkook. The receptionist, a woman with a sleek ponytail, glanced up, her eyes widened slightly in recognition. Mistress John, ma'am, she said respectfully. Mr. John sir is in a meeting right now, but he will be back in about 10 minutes. Would you like to wait in his cabin? You nodded. Thank you. As you entered Jungkook's cabin, you took a seat on the couch, placing the lunchbox on the office coffee table in front of you. Despite the formal air of the office, you felt a sense of comfort here. It was Jungkook's space. The door clicked open and Jungkook walked in. His sharp gaze immediately landed on you, his expression unreadable. He closed the door behind him, loosening his tie slightly as he approached you. When did you get here? He asked, his tone calm but distant. About 10 minutes ago, you replied, standing up. I brought you lunchbox. His eyes flickered to the neatly packed lunchbox before returning to you. You brought it yourself. Why didn't you send it with the driver? I was so bored in house, so I wanted to bring it myself, you said, offering a small smile. You shouldn't have come all the way here, and it's not safe for you to be traveling like this alone. I'm fine, Jungkook. I just thought. You thought? Did you think about how dangerous it could be? What if something had happened to you on the way? I know, I can handle myself. I know you can handle, but that doesn't mean you should take risks like this. Next time, send it with the driver, understood? You swallowed, nodding reluctantly. Understood. Did you eat? Not yet. I was going to eat after I got back home. So, you skipped your meal to bring me mine? I didn't skip, you said quickly. I will eat after going home. Then without another word, he pulled out his phone, typing something before setting it down. Sit. What? You asked, blinking at him. Sit down, he said, pulling a chair. You reluctantly sat down on the couch as he took a seat at his desk and opened the lunchbox. He took a bite, his movements precise and controlled. It's good, he said after a moment. Thank you. After a few bites, he glanced up at you. Why are you sitting there like that? What do you mean? You are just watching me eat. I have ordered food for you. It will be here in a few minutes. Jungkook, you don't need to argue. He cut in, his gaze sharp. You are eating before you leave. You pressed your lips together, knowing better than to push him when he was like this. Though his words were cut, you could sense the underlying concern for you. Despite his cold demeanor, there was a warmth in his words that made your chest tighten. You nodded, watching as he went back to his meal. His usual stoic mask slipping just enough to reveal the man who cared deeply, even if he rarely showed it. After some time, the order delivered and you both ate your lunch and you decided to go. Okay, Jungkook, I will leave now. Wait here, he said, pulling out his phone. What are you doing? He didn't answer right away, his fingers quickly typing a message. After a few seconds, he placed his phone back on the desk and looked at you. I have called my secretary. He will drop you home. You blinked in surprise. Jungkook, that's not necessary. I can go by myself. No, you are not going alone. I'm perfectly capable of getting home on my own. You argued standing up. No, you are going with my secretary and that's final. You signed, realizing there was no winning this argument. Fine. You glanced at him, noticing the faint hint of worry in his otherwise stoic expression. Despite his cold demeanor, moments like this remind you just how much he cared. A few minutes later, Jungkook's secretary knocked on the door and stepped inside. Drop YN at home safely. The secretary nodded respectfully. Okay, sir. You stood up, giving Jungkook one last glance and followed the secretary out. You sat curled up on the couch, trying to ignore the fear creeping up your spine. With each flash of lightning and loud crack of thunder, you hated thunderstorms. They always left you feeling vulnerable and uneasy. The sound of thunder made you flinch again, and you reached for your phone, dialing Jungkook's number to know when he will come. The phone rang a few times before he answered, his voice cold as always. Hello, YN. Jungkook, where are you? I'm on my way home, YN. Why? It's raining heavily outside, you muttered, glancing nervously at the windows. So please drive safely. I will be home in 10 minutes. Okay, you said, feeling a bit better, hearing that he was on his way. Drive carefully, it's really heavy out there. I am fine, I will be there soon. Okay, saying that you hung up the call. Your heart raced with each flash of lightning, and the constant rumble of the thunder made you feel trapped in a wave of anxiety. You kept your eyes squeezed shut, the fear tightening its grip on you. What happened, YN? He asked, placing a hand on your shoulder. You looked up, your hand slowly lowering from your ears. Relief washed over you as you saw him. You came. I was so scared, Jungkook. The thunder, it's so loud. He kneeled in front of you, his gaze steady and serious. Why didn't you tell me before that you are scared of thunderstorms? I didn't want to bother you. You're always so busy. You should have said. I would have come home earlier. I didn't think it would be this bad. Jungkook, you're completely drenched, you said, stepping closer. Come on, you need to take a warm shower or you'll catch a cold. You took his hand and guided him towards the bedroom without a word. The sound of friends still echoed in the background. Once in the bedroom, you grabbed a towel from the wardrobe and walked back to him. Standing in front of him, you unfolded the towel and gently began drying his hair. He stood still, his eyes watching yours every move. "You don't take care of yourself, do you?" you said, muttering, your fingers brushing through his wet straights as you worked. "I didn't plan to get wet. It was just the walk from the car to the house." You sighed, shaking your head. "Still, you could have been more careful." "What if you catch a cold? You are always so busy, Jungkook. When will you take a break and think about yourself? You push yourself so much. Someone has to take care of you since you clearly won't do it yourself." His lips twitched almost as if he wanted to smirk, but he held it back. "And that someone is you?" he said, questioning you. "Of course," you said without hesitation, continuing to dry his hair. "Who else would it be?" For a moment, Jungkook stayed silent, his eyes softening as he watched you fuzz over him. "You really don't have to do this." "I know, but I want to." "You may not say much, Jungkook, but I know you care, and I care about you too. So stop arguing and go take a warm shower." "You are bossy. Only because you are so stubborn. Now go." Jungkook didn't argue further. He took the towel from your hands and glanced at you one last time before heading towards the bathroom. Just before closing the door, he paused and looked over his shoulder. "Thanks," he said simply, his voice low but genuine. You smiled softly. Each time the sky lighted up, followed by the deafening roar of thunder, you flinched, your heart racing. Under the thick duvet, you tried to find some comfort, but the cold seeped into your skin and the sounds outside made it impossible to relax. Your body shivered involuntarily, and even though you tried to stay still, the trembling was impossible to hide. Jungkook, who was sitting beside you on the bed scrolling through his phone, noticed your discomfort. His brows furrowed slightly as he glanced at you. For a moment he seemed unsure of what to do, his cold nature making him hesitant. But as another loud thunderclap made you flinch and curl tighter under the covers, then he made up his mind. The warmth of his body enveloped you, contrasting sharply with the cold air that had been chilling you moments before. His touch was firm yet gentle, his presence grounding. "Are you feeling warmer now?" he asked, his voice low and calm, right near your ear. You swallowed hard, your pulse quickening at the unexpected intimacy. Jungkook doesn't show such gestures, and the suddenness of it left you speechless for a moment. Yeah, you stammered finally, your voice barely above a whisper. He hummed softly in response, his grip around you tightening slightly. Even with Jungkook's arm wrapped around you from behind, your body continued to shiver slightly. The cold seemed to linger, and though his warmth helped, it wasn't enough to completely chase away the chill. Jungkook noticed the faint trembling. "Still cold?" You didn't respond immediately, unsure of how to admit that you were still struggling. Instead, you nodded faintly, your head barely moving. He sang quietly, almost as if debating something in his mind. Then, before you could register what was happening, you felt him move away slightly. The sound of fabric rustling reached your ears, and your breath hitched when you realized what he was doing. The sudden closeness combined with the intimacy of the gesture sent a jolt of electricity through your body. Jungkook, you stammered, your voice barely audible. Does this help? Yeah, it's warmer. You finally managed to whisper, your voice trembling slightly, not from the cold but from the sheer intensity of the moment. Jungkook's warm embrace slowly eased your shivers, his bare chest pressing against your back, grounding you in his presence. For a man who was always so distant and reserved, this sudden closeness left you speechless, your heart pounding louder than the rain outside. You always take care of me, even though I don't talk much, even though I'm not the easiest person to be with. You still care. I know I'm not good with words. I don't show it the way you might want me to. But tonight, seeing you like this, I wanted to help you. I wanted to do something for you. I will try to talk more. I am not used to it, but for you, I will try. I don't want you to think that I don't care about you, Ryan, because I do, more than I have ever let you know. You turned your head slightly, trying to meet his eyes. His grip around your waist tightened slightly. I know I have been distant, but it's not because I don't feel anything. I don't know how to show it sometimes. I love you, Ryan. I don't know if I'm saying it in the right way, but I do. I love you. You turned fully in his arms, your hands resting lightly against his chest. I love you too. I have always loved you, Jungkook, even when you barely talked to me. I know there was more to you than what you showed. You have been so patient with me. I don't deserve it. You deserve everything, you said firmly, your fingers curling into his chest. Then another loud crack of thunder filled the room, making you flinch instinctively. Jungkook's chest vibrated with a soft chuckle as he held you tighter. You are really that scared of thunder? You nodded, still holding him tightly. I have always been scared of it, since I was little. What about it scares you so much? I don't know, it's just so loud and sudden. It makes me feel like the whole world is shaking and I can't control it. Do you think I'm childish? He frowned slightly, shaking his head. No, everyone is scared of something. You are not childish for being afraid. You smiled faintly, his words bringing a strange comfort you hadn't expected. What about you? Are you scared of anything? I'm not really afraid of things like thunder, but I do worry about people I care about like you. Your heart skipped a bit, your eyes locking onto his. You mean like me? Yeah, like you. You felt your cheeks warm, a shy smile forming on your lips. You don't show it much, but I guess you care more than you let on. Jungkook chuckled softly. I don't need to show it all the time. You are smart enough to know. You pouted playfully, nudging his chest slightly with your elbow. Still, a little more wouldn't hurt. Noted, he said with a faint smirk, his hand resting against your waist. But if you're scared like this again, you have to tell me, no hiding it. You nodded, your body relaxing slightly in his embrace. Okay, but only if you promise to keep hugging me like this. He let out a quiet laugh, his breath warm against your ear. Deal, as long as you don't run away the next time I take my shirt off. You blushed furiously, burying your face in his chest. Jungkook. He chuckled, and the two of you stayed like that, wrapped in each other's arms, and fell asleep.